Hi, Diana.
Hi.
I don't know. I haven't seen Danielle. If I don't know if she's got this set up, I believe. So
She usually doesn't click it on until just before the meeting. How much snow have you guys gotten?
we didn't get more than 3-4 inches, but then it turned sort of rainy.
Yeah,
So
I heard there's a potential big storm this weekend.
yeah, there's going to be another one. Maybe a nor'easter, they say.
Wow.
We will see. It is winter.
It's welcoming you back to Vermont for the winter.
When do you come back?
Next Friday.
So
I fly out Thursday night.
So not very long there. That's a short trip.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. It's usually about the shortest, but I've got to get back and Andrew's surgery isn't until the 3rd, but I've got stuff I've got to do next week, the weekend before his surgery. So
Yeah, I have a awards meeting on the 3rd where I'm on the honors and awards committee for the SME, and so we have a meeting for several hours where we consider the nominations for who will be selected for fellows, and it's going to be several hours of Microsoft team meeting.
fun.
I prefer Zoom.
Yeah.
So
can you sign in if you're an interested party?
Yep.
Mike, I'm not have you.
You're not in?
You can say, you can
Yeah.
circle no, and if Mike, if
Okay.
you could sign in too.
Sure.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
hello, Danielle.
How's your drive, Danielle?
Fine. I mean, it's fine. 15 minutes instead of 12, it wasn't too bad.
Oh, there you go. Hi, Patty.
Hi.
Yeah, how was your drive, Patty? Not too
That
bad.
is fine. Yeah, slow, but
I think it's gonna be
it's
worse
like-
when we go home, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, my lights, I have to keep moving, but the lights go out in here.
Hi, Patty.
Hi, Delcy, how are you?
I am fine. It kept snowing here over in St. Albans, probably
Yeah.
later than it did where you are, and I just said,
Not worth it. It's, yeah,
no,
too dangerous.
I don't blame you. It's still snowing here. It's more like icing, so you made the
Ah.
right choice.
I went for a walk and it was right before it got dark and it was raining a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
I want to know how much snow Diana has.
Oh, man, it's knee deep here. It's tough.
She's in Hawaii.
Nice, I'm
Although
heading
it
to
was
see
cool
John
this
next
morning.
week.
You see, I have a sweater on.
You've been there before?
Cool,
No.
yeah, I bet,
It's
you know.
It was
come-
64.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't wait, next Saturday.
So jealous.
Sunday's
It's
gonna be
really an
brutal.
amazing place.
It's like
I hope
2/3
you're not
National
coming
Park,
home on
right?
Sunday.
Yeah.
No, not till next Friday.
Oh, wow, nice.
so it is 6:30, and this is the
Oh, wait, Delcy, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I have to start recording.
okay.
Oh, no, we're already recording. Okay, sorry. Go forward.
Oh, okay. This is the Town of North Hero Development Review Board meeting on Thursday, February 13th, 2025. It is 6:30 PM. And we will be having one hearing this evening that's on the schedule. So calling the meeting to order. We have Patty, Lisa, David, Charlie, Diana, myself, and Chip present. Given that Chip, unless one of the other members comes on board, will you serve on the committee tonight?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
and I'll be available if this were to move into another meeting night, I'd be available for that too.
Okay, very good. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
You have another person.
Christine, hi.
Is Delcy here?
She
Oh.
is. Yeah.
Oh, Delcy's there. Okay. Took a little longer. I had this big friggin' bump in the room on Blockhouse Point. that didn't move.
So,
Not to mention it was slow driving. Sorry, I'm like.
It's okay.
It still had antlers,
Huh?
still had antlers.
You know, I look, he was huge and he was standing there, like wouldn't move. But no, he didn't have it.
He was a lady.
Anyway, I digress.
okay. I just asked if there were any adjustments to the agenda. If there are not,
Delcy, I would like to, under other business, I just have two things I want to bring up: board openings and training session.
I saw that.
thank you, Diana. So with Diana in a much warmer place than the rest of us, she asked me if I would chair the meeting tonight. I had intended to be there in person, but I'm over in St. Albans and decided I just did not want to drive back after the meeting, not knowing exactly what it was going to be like on Route 78. So please bear with me here as I operate through Zoom.
I think you made a wise decision, Delcy, because I checked the forecast and it wasn't supposed to be snowing at this hour.
Exactly.
Earlier. And I thought, oh, I'll go in. It's horrible out.
It is.
So you did make a good decision.
Well, thank you. I think I can live with it. So given that there are no public comments, our first hearing will be 2024-110 DRB. This is a request for subdivision, boundary line adjustment. The owner is Henry Corse with Innisfree Lake LLC. The applicant is Michael Gaines from Barnard and Gervais. And
Hello.
yes,
I
No.
said hello.
okay, thank you. And the location is 395 Greenpoint Road, North Hero. First, I want to ask if there are any conflicts of interest for members of the board. If you'd please declare
Nope.
those now, or if you have had any ex parte communication.
No.
Okay. If not, we would like to identify any interested persons that are present who wish to participate in this hearing.
Myself,
And we have online, we have Christian and M. Beatty. Could you please identify yourselves?
Yeah, hi, my name's Christian Slaughter, and we're at 53 Heron Circle, North Hero, Vermont.
And are you an abutter to this property?
We are not, no.
Okay. And what about Beatty? Thank you, Christian.
Marilee Beatty, is my audio working?
Yes, it is.
Oh, super. So we're at 391 Greenpoint Road, which is adjacent.
Yes. So, if to be an interested person, you certainly meet that category. And
Chelsea,
yes,
could I ask Kristen if he is in the neighborhood, because he doesn't have to be an actual abutter.
I am not. I'm over by Birdland.
Technically, I don't know whether that's neighboring, but pretty close.
I'm actually on the East Shore. So do you know where the old school supervisory union was?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
so Ms. Beatty, if I'm going to read the oath that we are required to have you agree to, and have you say, I will.
Delcy, you're gonna swear, you can swear in at the same time, the gentleman who's there.
Mike.
Oh, yes. So I hereby swear that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury. You agree?
I
Agreed.
agree.
Thank you. People with interested person status and who participate in this hearing may be able to do an appeal if that is something that comes up after a decision has been made. Now, can we have Michael, can you, is it Mike or Michael?
Mike is fine.
Mike, could you present what this hearing is, what this application is for, please?
Sure. What Mr. Karst is pursuing is a boundary line adjustment of essentially one existing deeded lot line on his current holdings. I don't know, I assume everyone has a copy of the
Yes.
draft plat. So I've actually updated this for a clearer copy here without the ortho photo in the back, but we're looking to adjust the line that exists between the deeded lot 18E and 19E. Just basically to no, there's not being any new lots created. It's just changing the existing geometry of the deeded lots to better conform with the landowners, just the shape of the parcel that he wants with the development and the infrastructure that's on the site as a whole now.
Delcy,
Yes,
could I ask for one specific finding at the beginning? I would recommend that we find that these are indeed two lots and that they are permitted by planning commission, and that the lister's card, which showed them to be one property, it may have been done for tax map purposes, but does not reflect the permitted subdivision. That subdivision plat was last recorded that I can understand, but by Paul Healy, and I think it was 1993 or something, but it's one of the exhibits.
right. So what you're essentially saying is that these are two existing lots in the shoreland that and just looking for a boundary line adjustment between these two specific lots.
Yes,
Yes,
that's my recommendation.
Mike, go ahead.
I mean, the total land holdings right now are comprised of 6 deeded lots. Described as 4 parcels in the current deed, basically a consolidating deed. And, we have 3 recorded surveys, prior surveys with the town that show those lots and perpetuate those lot lines. And that's all we've done as well. We've tied into everything that's been surveyed before, checked it checks, reproduced it. And now we're looking for a more concrete way to monument and adjust the line that's between the historical lots or the deeded lots, 18E and 19E.
Could you speak to any setbacks for structures?
I have the zoning district standards cited on the zoning information table on the plat. Again, because nothing is being built or being proposed to be built. We have everything, we meet all the current setback requirements with this proposal.
And you've got here the wetlands and the buffer zone for the wetlands.
We did not have a wetland delineation performed as a part of this survey. However, what I have on there is the edge of the marsh, located as the edge, surveyed in as the edge of marsh, is like the practical edge of the lot.
I have a question. So you're changing the boundary line between 18E and 19E,
Yes,
the interior, so neither of those but the wetlands anyway, because they're next to each other. Right,
correct.
so it's an
Correct.
in, yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's from 12 o'clock of the cul-de-sac
Yeah.
up to the north bay
Yeah,
of the,
yeah.
of the lake. That southerly line that we're proposing basically follows to the best we could replicate the already established lot line. I just didn't put that light blue layer over it to keep it a little crisper.
Oh, that answers one of my questions. Thank you. There's no, you're not proposing any change in that. It's just in the north-south line that goes from the road up through to the lake. Is that correct?
Of lot 20E, are you referring to? All the lines go to the extent of the lake.
Right. No, the boundary line adjustment line, I have two red lines on what I have here, and I'm just saying, the only line that we're interested in is the line that goes up the road and to the lake, north-south.
Correct.
Right.
That's the main adjustment.
That's, I was just trying to,
Yes.
with my small drawing here, is just trying to establish that. So thank you.
I have some bigger prints if you'd like me to hold it up.
No, that is okay. I just wanted clarification.
Okay.
Do the board members have other questions?
This is Lisa Faring. Yes, I have a few more questions. You will be do these right of ways already exist that are shown in the plat, or are these going to be kind of
No, so those
memorialized by, okay, go ahead.
Those already exist and they're permitted under note 9, wastewater permit WW 6-3704. We will have to pursue an amendment, a permit amendment with this, which we're in the process of.
Can you say which the permit again?
It's on survey note number 9. Wastewater permit WW 6-3704.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Okay, this is Lisa. This is Lisa again. I haven't tried to look at the key to make sure that the house in 20E is meets setback for a lot. Is that 25 feet or more from the boundary line?
I don't have a tie line displayed on the sketch. I could add a tie line to it. Do I have an engineer's rule?
It's just gonna get
Will say that
A
I
ruler.
believe I checked that and that it did meet the setback, but I didn't mark it down anywhere, so. but I believe that I did check that and it was.
Yeah, at the closest angle point there, it scales to about 40 feet, 38, 40 feet.
Okay, great. Thank you for checking that.
Could you, this is Delcy, could you just explain, I'm looking at the road that comes in and, the right of way, is that, that's coming to the two properties? What is the width of that road?
It's approximately 12 feet wide, 12 to 14 feet wide, gravel, like owner constructed road. It's a private road.
And it serves the two houses, that I have a little trouble seeing the detail. But you said that, it is a deeded right of way for, the 18E.
Yes. Yes, it's included in the deed.
Okay. Any
It's
other
in the
questions?
It's in the chain of title, for sure.
Yes. And how about interested parties? Are there any questions from Ms. Beatty?
Elsie, I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Can you talk about on the map, on the plat, the Nature Conservancy already has this land?
Yes.
Correct.
And that's the land, here's Route 2, and it would be the land, what, west of Route 2?
Correct.
That's in Nature Conservancy now, and then I read in your application, you have plans to put some of this land in conservation?
Mr. Kars is looking to, this is one lot, and Mr. Kars is looking to sell off or donate that lot to a conservation organization.
He asked if the town of North Hero might be willing to accept the donation, which they're unsure of. So I did direct him to the Nature Conservancy since I noticed that they were in a butter and they are on
Yeah.
that property.
Yeah.
So I believe that he is pursuing that.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Delcy,
Yes.
I have a question too. So in looking at the colored plat that we have, the road, so I looked at the legend on the side. There's no solid red line notated in that legend, but there is a solid red line that goes along the road and out to the lake. What is that?
So the reason that is like that, there's so many legs, that's a function of the AutoCAD. It
Okay,
is that line type. It's just.
It is
Those
the
legs,
long-
those leg segments are so short
oh, okay,
relative
Oh,
to the scale of the
okay,
map that it doesn't show.
okay,
like,
good.
Just picture like stretching it out.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
looking at that and I'm like, what is
Yeah.
the rest? Solid
I'll see if
red?
maybe,
Yeah.
on the final plat, I'll see about maybe hand putting some whiteouts in
Okay.
to make it a little clearer.
Okay, all right, thanks.
This is Lisa Faring again. I just wanted to just address I have a question about nomenclature. You've laid out a delineation between this property and what you're calling the conservation district, but we don't actually have a town designated conservation district in this area. So the conserved land would just be conserved land. is my understanding. Now, happy to hear from other members of the board about that. Or Danielle, you may have.
Right, yeah, I kind of agree with there, that would still be considered shoreland district, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I think I agree with Lisa there, because we don't have a conservation district per se, and you have it labeled constant.
We do have a
yeah, we do.
yeah, we do have a conservation.
Oh,
We have 5 districts.
Five, yeah.
Conservation is the 5th district.
Oh,
that we
Oh,
have,
it,
yep.
it is a district, but that is not identified as a conservation district on our town map.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
well, that should
Yeah.
be way updated.
Yeah, I was going to, the regs to look it up because I was sure we had them.
Okay, good.
I'll find it.
Definitely, I'll look it up later.
And, you know,
We
our town regs may or may not, you know, correspond to what the requirements are for tax conservation, you know, the legal guidelines for the state of Vermont or whatever. So I just want to be clear that whatever he's doing to conserve his land is not through the town of North Hero. All right, is that Ed?
He asked, sorry, oh, you can go ahead.
He's still pursuing avenues.
He asked if the town would be willing to accept the donation of land. They did not seem happy, like they weren't going to accept that. So I did tell Mr. Karst that, you know, the Nature Conservancy owns the land adjacent to him, so that would potentially be an avenue for him to pursue. And he also has contacts with the Vermont Land Trust, so he may reach out to them as well.
Great. I mean, that sounds like an excellent course of action. My real question was really just, is this in our town, you know, is this a conservation district according to our town regulations? And if not, should it be?
What are you looking up?
The GIS map to see if that's mapped as conservant.
That's where I pulled my delineation.
That's what I
guide
thought,
from.
yeah.
My laptop?
I mean, that's the shape file that the state provided for the boundary.
The GIS up on, or the.
Can you go right to the website or where you go?
Yeah, you can go to Town of North Carolina, that's. Okay. And then listers. Departments.
The shoreland's 500 feet
actually-
in from the shoreline. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well,
Um,
you know, I guess I'm looking at the tax map 7C and online, and it's not, you know, showing up there. And I don't
Yes.
remember seeing it on any hard copies.
Yes, and then we can type in 395. And then 395, and it'll just pull up 395, yep. Thank you, I click on that. And then if we do,
Mike, would you just repeat where you pulled this up from specifically so that I can make note of it?
What we're doing, you mean, Delcy?
No.
No, where Mike pulled up the line.
It was
Just,
it was through the town's website. It was that was that CAI?
CAI, yep.
CAI's
Yep, it's right there.
zoning website.
Yep.
And it was
okay,
just it was a shape file that I
it
imported.
was from here, right?
Yeah.
okay, I just wanted to make note of that and I didn't catch that the first time you said it. Thank
That
you.
shows all the zoning districts there, so I'm sure that's where you found it from.
Yeah, that's it. And you can see
Yeah.
the edge of, yeah, that's it. It's the same line.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just chopped that line out.
Yes.
I think so.
Thank you.
So what shape file is that? Where is that shape file that you're finding that? I'm sorry, I'm
In-
just trying
in
to
the
follow,
C-
follow along.
CAI.
Uh-huh.
So if you go to the town website and you go to the listers and then there's the, um, I don't
I'm on
remember
the CAI, you know, on the parcel map, CAI of the
then
parcel.
if you, on the left-hand side, if you click layers,
Under Lister info, on the Lister page, there's a link to an interactive map.
Yeah.
So you click the interactive map and up comes, oh, you guys can't see it because of the.
Okay,
Uh,
but
Anyway, then in the upper left-hand corner, you type in the address, 359 Greenpoint.
390.
395. Greenpoint Road comes up. And it zeroes in on the property, and then you click
Click on
on Innisfree Lake LLC. And you get all the detail.
And then on the left-hand side, there's a tab that says layers and it lets you filter by zoning district and a few other things.
And conservation
Wow.
district. is still up
Yeah.
there.
Property map,
Okay.
zoning map. So zoning districts.
okay, well, I will have to
You see
continue
conservation.
this tutorial later. I appreciate your bearing with me on this.
And Lisa, the conservation district is not listed for this property. It's off island, rural, shoreland, village. So what do we have here? How do we read this, Danielle? Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, this looks different than what I'm used to.
because here's the districts, but it's not necessarily telling us what.
Yeah, it's missing some. It doesn't even have Merlin's one on there. So that's strange. So I don't know. This is different than what I see from the office. I'm not totally sure.
Oh, okay.
But the conservation district, I mean, if you look in the bylaws, it's listed in, I think it's table 5.1.
Yeah.
Or table 2.1.
It's in the, yeah, we just pulled it up in the
there.
regs.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not sure why this map
Right.
right here isn't showing
But
it.
what I'm saying is the map, the hatch marks,
Don't have.
the map,
conservation.
yeah,
Right,
the
but-
map itself isn't showing any hatch.
But I'm
marks.
saying this map itself
Right.
isn't even showing River
My
Lands
map?
1.
Well, there isn't on 7C, there might not be any rural land
Um,
and that's.
But
Well,
they're showing
there
River
is
Lands
no,
2.
this is
Oh, okay,
Lisa,
there
we
are.
don't, this is Lisa, we don't have a designation, rural lands 2, we have or 1, we have rural lands 2, and that is anything that shows up without the hash marks is, according to the legend, is rural lands 2. So Shoreland District has the blue hash marks.
Just not seeing any hatch marks.
But if you look at the own tax map, they're out there, but there is.
Did
So
I
is
go
this
get-
something that we need to resolve?
I don't think so.
I think it would be valuable to resolve so that when the plat's recorded, it's recorded with the correct information that matches whatever our town land use maps indicate. I don't think that. So it seems like we should be able to make sure it has the correct designation.
So the designation would either be conservation district or rural lands. Rural
And
district.
shorelands. And shoreland.
Mhm.
Is the shorelands, yes, the shorelands are going back 500 feet, but we just want the correct identification. We understand that they're looking at Nature Conservancy or Land Trust, but in the meantime, just to make sure that the plat appropriately has the right designation for what is beyond the 500 feet of the shoreland district. So that we can
Would you
put
mind bringing?
into a
some
finding.
I'm trying.
I have it here,
Oh, you do?
map 7C.
From the town?
Yeah,
Plan?
and so.
Oh, I
there
haven't
is-
gotten that far. Thank you.
So there is. Current use parcels are labeled in pink, you know, so that, it doesn't say conservation district, this is a PDF. Of that, of.
Can I look up
7C.
something?
Sure.
On here, where's that?
So if you just scroll. Not with your finger here,
Oh.
I mean here. So. There is a difference here to here.
But to parcel, this is.
Oh, right up here, yeah.
This is it. And this is the line that I've
So this is, the
reconstructed. I don't know what this is the Nature Conservancy.
right, and
Yeah.
that color
I'm not
is
sure why the
labeled as current
conservation
use
district isn't
program. It
showing,
doesn't
'cause
say
we have
conservation district there.
a
Well, but
conservation
I look at the
district.
town.
Yeah. This is,
on our
the
land
website.
use map.
Right,
So
yeah,
I'm not
um,
totally sure why it's not showing.
yeah, I'll have to get there. I
And,
just have saved this PDF.
Here, right here.
There she has.
Um,
it.
So
That's the bylaws, yeah.
this
and
is Lisa. So the parcel use type is not the same as a district that's been identified as the town of North Hero wants to conserve this area. And we're going to, you know, create this area of our town and make sure we've got rural, you know, wildlife corridors and, you know, natural trees and, or whatever it is that we want to have as a town and make that a town conservation area. That would be a district that we created. That's a, you know, that's
I just really want to take a look at the town plan.
So you want to
Yeah.
see.
The
Because-
bylaw,
zoning
yeah,
permits?
the bylaws,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
and the parcel use type is what's identified in the CAI as yeah, that's what the nature conservation property next door is labeled, just a parcel use type of land use.
So what my understanding is, from this discussion is that there needs to be clarification and that the specific district identified on the plat before the plat is submitted for recording.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions? Marilee, did you have any comments?
No, it's a little hard to follow along, you know, without having a picture in front of me, but I'm trying my best. I did look at it ahead of the meeting, but it's like I don't have it memorized, but
Understood.
I've zoomed in on it, but the scale of the town zoning district map is too small. It's just why I relied on the shapefile.
Do you want, yeah,
Oh, I see what you're looking at, but yeah, the colors only, yeah,
It's not like it's a described boundary or anything.
no.
So these are the conservation districts? No, which aren't?
But it's far and away
that's why,
from
yeah, the green.
where any of the project adjustment lines are
Happening.
proposed.
Right.
And
The
there's
green-
nothing on this site. It's just land and swamp.
Right, the green is where the conservation is, right?
It's the edge, yeah, like you
Yeah.
can see where I zoomed in
Yeah.
as much as I could on a Greenpoint Road, like you
Yeah.
kind of see the arc of the shape file there, but.
Yeah, and it's not,
not-
it's not close to where you are proposing the
No.
line. You can kind of see, there's,
I certainly appreciate what you're saying about it not being close. One of the things that we found as we've gone through with different hearings and that is trying to make sure that our plats are as correct as possible or as clear as possible so that something doesn't happen in the future, that somebody points to something and says, oh, but you recorded this and it says such and such. So just trying for clarity and consistency is all that we're doing now. I know it's kind of a long hassle here going through, and I appreciate your patience, Mike.
No problem.
Any other questions?
I've got a question.
Is it-
I'm Marilee Beatty's husband.
Hi.
Uh,
We do need you to swear in as an interested party.
Yes, I do.
Oh, can I read? I hereby swear that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
Thank you.
And
And
Mr. Beatty, what's your first name?
Brian.
you.
Brian.
Go
Got it,
ahead,
thank-
go ahead with your comment or question, Brian.
I am just wondering, if this property goes into a state or federal bureaucracy, are you still going to be able to harvest trees that are dead and falling down on that property? Are they gonna forbid any tree harvesting? Primarily dead trees, but that's my question.
Absolutely. As the zoning administrator, I will just say my experience with this is that is a state level decision that's made. They are the ones who have jurisdiction over the shorelands and conservation districts and wetlands. So I know, for example, if you have anything going on in the shorelands, you need a state permit, and that supersedes anything that the town has jurisdiction over.
Does that mean that you just let the dead trees fall down on the ground and before they are able to be utilized in some other way?
Delcy, can I suggest that this is not real? I mean, I understand that he's concerned about that. Maybe he can come in and talk to Danielle in the office, but I'm not sure it's relevant to the hearing.
I think that I agree, and that is something that you might want to also take up with the Shorelands committee that of the town. They put together numerous different educational programs, etc., that and are much better able to answer your questions. David is has been very much involved. David Eric has been very much involved with that Shorelands committee. And
Dulcie, I was going to suggest though that the regulatory control would really be at the state level. It would really be the Department of Environmental Conservation.
yes, I
Yeah.
agree. But in terms of information and that the numerous different things that that the group has brought in and had people talk to, they could certainly point you in the right direction to who to approach in the state, or our zoning administrator could point you in the right direction as well.
Well,
Then
Well,
Brian,
thank-
our next meeting is on Wednesday, the 19th at 6 p.m.
Chelsea,
Yes,
the other element here that we don't need to go into tonight is the fact, to exactly what the Nature Conservancy's role in this is.
right.
So-
We're not going into that. That we understand that they're looking into that, but that's not something that's at play here. Right now, we're looking at the boundary line adjustment between two existing lots in a subdivision.
I've got
If-
another question.
Yes?
I've already been given verbal permission to cut down dead and dying trees on this property. Is that gonna curtail me from continuing to clean up that portion of his land? Or is this null and nullified my?
I can't speak to that. You have a verbal agreement with Mr. Cars. That's between you and Mr. Cars. It's not between me.
I would advise that you would contact the state, just because they do have jurisdiction, just to make sure whether or not your verbal agreement stands or what you have permission to do on that land. Because that's not regulated by the town, it's regulated by the state.
But the land is not in conservation yet, correct?
No, but it's in
If
shoreland.
it's in Wetlands or it's in the shorelands, then it's still DEC jurisdiction.
Okay,
And that's from our zoning administrator, so very good advice. I would certainly encourage that you follow it. If there are no other questions, yes, Lisa.
This is Lisa Faring. I have a question for you that probably is not relevant at all. I hope it's not relevant, but in our packet, we had a deferral permit of between Mary Louise Ziegler and Joseph Goulet. And it's conveying a 200 by 300 by 300 parcel, which I think are totally not related in any way to these two parcels that we are trying to do the subdivision with, the boundary line adjustment.
Yeah, no, that's now on the lands of Brian and Marilee Beatty.
Okay. There was, yeah, it was just really, I didn't really see a way to
It's pretty
tie it
clear.
into where that was.
Yeah, it doesn't affect Mr. Cars's property. It's pretty clear though on map slide 73A that's recorded with the town. It's got the dimensions. It shows it very clearly, boundary survey of the property of Mary Louise Ziegler. That's map slide 73A.
That was added to our packet yesterday, I think.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Yep. Okay, thank you so much
Yep.
for clearing up that mystery.
Can I have a motion from the board?
We want a motion just to close the sketch plan review. Is that what you're?
Delcy, are you, before you entertain that, do we want to discuss the width of the road of the driveway?
Because the width of the driveway is 12 feet?
Yes.
Pardon me?
The width of the driveway is 12 feet?
It's between 12 and 14 feet. I have it physically located. I don't have the dimensions of the driveway on the plat, but I could calculate it.
Our bylaws require what, Lisa?
20 feet.
Oh, is that for?
But only for, is
Three
that
or
for,
more.
yeah, it's only for 3 or more. That is currently being discussed by the planning commission. There's no width currently for single family. Or two
Well, it
family.
actually looks like that entire
People-
road is probably that same width, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
We're
So
not
it's-
looking at the entire road. We're looking at the boundary line adjustment between these two lots.
Well, there is this right of way that travels from that edge over to
It'll be a shared right of way. The boundary line adjustment holds the center line of the existing road, the existing
Mhm.
driveway.
mhm. I just think that this raises questions. And I don't think it should be on you to have to fix a road for 15 people. So, but it is something that I think we need to find a way of addressing.
Right, but not with a boundary line between two lots with nothing further on past that.
I know, that's what the planning commission was discussing, there's nothing.
So we will leave that to what the
Recommendation.
planning commission decides to do.
Okay, good enough. I just wanted to see,
Bring it,
just
I
make sure
understand.
we talked about it.
now this was brought to us as a preliminary review for a major subdivision.
Minor.
Well, I did put in the, excuse me, in the, my staff report that it could be considered a major because it's in two, zoning districts. In our bylaws, it states that if it's in two zoning districts, it could be considered a major subdivision. And so because there's part of it in the shorelands and
Okay.
then, so, I did note that, I'm not totally sure how the DRB wants to approach that, but I did just note that that might be a
Okay.
consideration.
Yeah, thank you for flagging that, Danielle. This is Lisa again. I don't think it's optional for us
Yeah,
in the
neither.
current bylaws.
So that trumps it just being a baseline adjustment, bless you, it would be a. Bless you,
Yeah.
a major.
Yeah.
Okay,
But the boundary line, the line that's being adjusted is only in the shoreland district. The lot line is the lot line.
Oh, you're,
that's
yes,
being
yes,
adjusted
you're
is
right.
in the
So
shoreline.
That is true.
That is true. So so good that you pointed that out.
that's why
Thank
I
you.
wasn't sure if we should consider it one way or the other, I just pointed it out because the property in question. But
The
the
entire
bound-
holding
Exactly.
spreads to.
But
yes,
the boundary line, you're right, it is only in one
Right,
district.
I had questions about parcel versus lot lines, and the two lots are definitely strictly in the shoreline district.
Mhm.
Therefore, it is a minor boundary line adjustment, minor subdivision. And with the appropriate plat capturing the couple of things that we've talked about, we have all of the information that we need. Anybody have any other questions on the board?
So we don't think this is a major subdivision?
No, it's
No.
minor.
It is not a major subdivision,
That's
it's minor.
changes in the one district?
Mhm.
So it doesn't involve the other district at all? We don't go through the other district?
The property consists of the two districts, but the boundary line adjustment itself
It's
is only
only in
in
one.
the shorelands, so it is
Okay.
only considered in one
All
district.
right.
I have one
that-
question. I have one question and clarification for me, then what? I need to know what the town is citing then, so my plat is accurate for your conservation district versus rural lands district line, because I mean, this essentially, the bulk of this line is underwater swampland that's inaccessible, and I'm just pulling state data and publicly available data for that, so I'm more than happy to like delineate it how you want, but I need to know, like, you were showing me a shaded tax map tonight versus I'm just using the ESRI lines. I need to know what the town is holding as of February 13th, 2025 for your district boundaries.
I can help you with that.
Okay,
Yeah, I can definitely help you with that.
Okay,
Let me just make a note.
And just out of curiosity, the wetlands issue, understanding that this is a large portion of this land falls into the wetlands area. Have you had the state evaluate this?
no, we haven't had a wetland a wetland delineation performed because there's no construction or anything proposed.
Any other questions, anybody? Then could I have a motion to close the hearing?
I think Diana made that motion, but we didn't get a second.
I'd
Conversation.
mentioned sketch plan or preliminary, so I will amend my motion and say close the final hearing.
I'll second that.
Right. The word is recess, please.
Not, my motion is to close.
Chip, this is a minor subdivision?
So he's going to come back with he's going to just come back with a plat. And we will not need to review it any further.
Correct,
Okay, then we can close.
correct. Can we have a
Okay.
vote?
Actually, I have one more comment. So, section 7.7 of our bylaws about driveways is that driveway's private. It is not 3 or more. It's all accesses serving not more than 3 lots shall be considered driveways and shall comply with the driveway standards in subsection B below.
Which, is there a question?
And then in B, it says driveways serving 2 or 3 lots shall have a minimum width of 20 feet.
So,
It's been 5 lots since 1957.
And it says the DRB may waive this standard for shared driveways involving adjacent properties.
That's the setback. Driveways shall be set back a minimum
This
of
is
25 feet.
Oh, okay.
The DRB may waive that.
Sorry, okay.
Driveway serving 2 or 3 lots shall have a minimum width of 20 feet. And there's not room to waive that.
This is a BLA.
What?
I mean, this is. I'm not a DRB member.
No, we want your opinion.
This is just a boundary line adjustment, so
That's all we should focus on.
I don't know. I'm just the clerk.
so
Yeah,
Lisa,
This is just a boundary line adjustment, so the driveway width is not before us.
Well, shall we go to the beginning of this section? Section 7.
Yeah.
Development standards, section 7.1, application of standards. Shall the ZA and DRB shall evaluate applications against the applicable standards below. Not all standards will apply to every application. DRB may require modification of subdivision or site plan design, phasing, or permit conditions to avoid or mitigate any adverse impacts and to ensure conformance with these standards. So it's specifically states subdivision.
So Lisa, is this an issue for deliberation?
Well, I think it, to me, it seems like we should make this, do our deliberations in public, because if, so everyone knows what's going on.
I guess, but fundamentally, this is not a subdivision.
Exactly.
One line, one existing lot line is being reconfigured. No new lots, there's not more lots being created.
Okay, I like that argument. I mean, I like that reasoning.
I've
But my
got a,
understanding has been, though, that a boundary line adjustment is a subdivision by definition in the regs. Oh, really?
Yeah.
this is Mr. Beatty. I've got a problem because the road in front of our camp leading into the next door neighbors, it's not 20 feet. And if they've got to widen that road, I'm not going to give up my lawn or hedge to accommodate them making their roadway wider.
I think that's an important consideration.
I do as well. I appreciate your comment. And so I would suggest that we have a vote to take, please.
Chelsea, are you calling the vote?
I am calling the vote. All in favor?
I'm in favor of closing the hearing.
Yeah,
Aye.
So I will do, because we're on Zoom, I also say aye. Diana said aye, Delcia said aye, Lisa has said aye.
Charlie, you're on mute. Yeah, I saw that.
Charlie has said aye, David has said aye. Chip?
I,
Chip is not voting if Christine is there.
Oh, that's right, Christine came in, thank you.
Aye.
Therefore, it is passed, the hearing is closed. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We will move on to the business of the board.
Nick, I will be in the office tomorrow, so I'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
Whatever needs to.
Nothing.
You're good. Yep.
Thank you.
You can
Mike,
talk.
thank you very much.
Chelsea,
Welcome.
so I'm no longer needed for the vote. I will sign off. Thank you.
Thank you, Chip.
Night, Chip.
Good night.
Good night.
So our next order of business is the approval of the minutes of January 9th.
Whoa,
You want to see them?
Hmm?
Do you want to see them?
I read them.
Oh, you did.
That's why I read them. Whoa.
Oh. It was a team effort there. Everybody did a good job. It was just a little longer than
That's
expected.
why I supported the overview version.
Is there,
Outvoted.
has there been a new set of minutes, or is what's on the website,
No.
the minutes?
Nope, I don't change them or update them until I get feedback at the next meeting. So this would be the chance to update those.
By the way, we used to do this thing where we marked them draft when they were up, so.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye, thank you. So people didn't think they were final, like if the public was reading them in terms of timing. Can you do that?
In
Put a
terms of
watermark.
statute, you don't need to do that.
You don't
You
need to.
just need to publish.
And then republish
You don't even need to republish.
if you
You don't
correct
need,
them?
you don't need to correct them. You don't need to sign off on them, nothing. You just need to have a draft.
So why are we wasting our time signing off on
I
it?
don't know, a lot of towns choose to do that, which we can do, and I will do an updated, like, I would, like, if we updated these minutes, I would re-upload like a new file to the website, and I would say that they were updated.
You
And
would.
I would put the date that they were updated,
Okay.
just so that people were aware, but it's not required by statute, but if the town prefers to do that, we can do that.
Well, I will leave that to our chair.
Well,
Seems like we always have a correction, though.
Mhm.
I do have a correction, in one correction in the minutes in terms of, listing, the appellants as Marie Quinton and Scott Jackson. They aren't interested parties in this. They were the appellants for this hearing.
They're the ones that appealed the decision.
Yes, yep. So I think the rest of the people on that line are interested parties, but they should be listed as the applicants or appellants.
Oh.
Okay, where exactly?
Also present.
Also present?
Yeah.
I mean, they were present. I don't call them interested parties there.
Oh,
No,
right.
further down in the hearing minutes,
Top of
were
page
recorded by
3.
David.
The fourth bullet
Yeah,
on the second page.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
It's a good catch,
So,
Chelsea. Thank you.
It says interested parties. So
that
there's,
that starts, Andre and Karen Quinton on
Uh-huh.
are interested parties. Marie Quinton and Scott Jackson are the appellants or the applicants.
right, okay, gotcha.
The other,
Am I, sorry,
the other thing that is just annoying to me is, you know, you go from Marie to Marie Quinton to Quinton, you know. And so typically, once someone's identified, we should just have a standard and call them Quinton.
absolutely.
You know,
So
like some people are referred to, you know, as McKinsey's, other people are referred to as Marie Quinton. And then other times she's
Right.
referred to as Marie.
So I didn't take these minutes because I was the
Right.
ZA. So
I
my
did.
question, and David, you did a great job. You did a great
I'm
job
not
and I
criticizing,
appreciate
it's
it.
just
In this
like an
particular
annoying thing.
case, there are 2 Quintons, however. There's Marie Quinton and there's Andre Quinton.
Right,
And Andre's wife. So I think in this instance, saying Marie, right, you can't just say Quinton. Because you're not
absolutely.
speaking.
And my question is, can I update these minutes since I wasn't the one that took them and since this was an appeal of a ZA decision and I'm the ZA?
Oh.
If not, I'm happy to make the changes.
I think you can, though.
Yeah, and I think as far as like, if you have an interested party, if Andre was an interested party in this.
Mhm.
During the bulk of the minutes, you can identify her as Marie Quinton and then M Quinton, if you wanna, you know, keep doing that. But just I think we should just have a standard. It's sort of,
I usually just use first names.
you usually use first names.
When yeah, but I
Once
mean,
they're identified.
but again, like, this was a little bit more convoluted than
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
so.
Whatever-
But
whatever
I
our
can
standard.
definitely do that, whatever anybody prefers, as long as I'm able to make the changes
Yeah,
to the minutes since I didn't draft them.
I don't have any problem with that. Does anyone
Yeah.
else?
I don't have
All
any
right.
problem with that either.
I drafted them and I'm fine. Thank you,
Thanks,
Danielle.
Amy. I appreciate you doing that so much. You did a great job. I'll do some updates and
Yeah.
then maybe I'll run them by you, David, and then we'll send them to the board.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
So one of the things I did notice is in statutes, it says that motions and votes need to be recorded in the minutes. And so if we're doing the approval of the minutes, we need to vote on the approval of the minutes, make the motion, and record that who's made the motion, seconded, and also if it's passed or not. So,
I vote to approve the minutes with changes suggested.
This is Lisa. Can you hear me?
yep.
Yeah,
Okay, I was having some problems before. I just wanted to point out that I still believe that the minute should reflect what happened, and the decision should reflect what we decided and how we came about that. And what happened includes, includes like all of the things that happen. And, there are a number of points that were made by both parties. I think that they might use as basis for appeal. And, I think it's important to get those in there. I think
do
there's
you have
a
any
couple.
specific recommendations, Lisa?
Well, I recommended that we go through a transcript and make sure we get accurate information.
I don't. it's
Not that there's anything
required.
wrong with David. I really appreciate the job you did here. But
No,
I
no,
think,
not at all. Do you want to listen to the transcript?
I would actually request that we get a transcript. I think we can do that from Zoom, I hope, Danielle. But
Can
I would be happy to go through if we can. I would be happy to go through and it's just that if we are going to document things to this detail, I think we have to get it right.
Yeah,
And there's
Kelsey,
number
this
of
is
things-
why I had proposed that we, on this particular one where there was so much she said, he said, back and forth, and it was at times, even when you were live and in person, it was hard to follow. And so I had proposed during some of our email exchanges that we do sort of capture a high level overview and let the decision stand. And, other folks felt differently, that it should be really detailed. And one of the things I said, I think in our meeting, was, or maybe it was in some of our correspondence, that, if this goes on appeal, our work is all set aside, because that was my concern, Diana, that my concern was, what if we get the minutes wrong? What if we get something wrong? Well, then can it be used for one party or another, and, or cast doubt on our decision or something like that? So I was thinking, well, the minutes might be general and overview, and then the decision stands. And because the hearing, if appealed, all materials are moot and become de novo. So I would suggest that Lisa's suggestion is frankly a waste of time.
I agree with you totally on that. I don't think we need to do that at all.
Okay, I think it's really like for something that might be of interest to the public of North Hero. That is why I think it might be useful. But
I would like to remind everybody that there is a full audio version
Exactly.
that captures every single solitary word all the way through
Right.
the whole hearing.
And that has a shorter lifespan than minutes do.
Oh,
Just how long, in terms of how long we have to keep, the town has to keep them. If I am recalling.
I
that.
don't know that you're right on that.
Okay.
I think they only need to be posted and available for 30 days, but I think that they're available for the full period of time where an appeal is possible. Meaning that somebody could listen to them within the appeal period and use that to appeal. I don't think they go away before.
I think it's actually a year now.
They're just, I think they're saved
and-
for a year, but they're only posted on the website for 30 days. I think that's the requirement.
And Danielle, are you talking about the recording, the minutes, or both?
The recording.
Uh-huh.
The minutes are kept forever. They're in a binder printed out downstairs. But the recording itself, I think it's only required to be on the website for 30 days. But I do think that it's kept in an archive for a year. And I will have to find out for sure if I'm speaking accurately, but that's what I believe to be true.
There aren't transcripts because we don't save the Zoom text.
I get notifications that it says that the meeting is being transcribed. I don't know where those go. I've never seen them. They may be
Okay.
somewhere, but
Yeah,
I do get
And you have to
notifications
take an
that it's
action to
transcribed.
save them too, I think.
And that, like, with the owl, like, none of us do, it just magically uploads, so I really don't know. I can ask Fran or Lisa if there's, if we
At
can
some point,
locate
it
those.
might be useful to know if.
I'm gonna second David's motion to accept the minutes with the corrections that Delcy recommended.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
those opposed?
Opposed? Nay.
And any extension? Abstention, sorry. It passes. Can we move on to the zoning administrator report, please?
Certainly. I have not issued any permits. This is the quiet season, knock on wood. I already regret saying that. But I've been doing a lot of certificates of occupancy and certificates of compliance for people. There have been several people who have wrapped up their permits that were issued over the summer and closed them out, which is great that they're being compliant. And a few houses that are up for sale, for which I did the certificates of compliance and did some site visits for those. That's about it. I've started to get some new building permit applications, I think, you know, in anticipation of like the warm season, which sounds great. But nothing really outstanding. It's just kind of basic work for the last month or so.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That sounds good. The next is procedures. And I only have one question to ask of all of you, and that is, I was working at writing up our procedure in terms of decisions, and wanted to ask the board as a whole, once a decision has been written and checked, are you all in agreement with what we've been doing recently, and that we can put it in the procedures, that you have 48 hours to respond to a written decision, to make any comments or that, and then it will be finalized and sent out? Is that 48 hours something that we can capture in our procedures?
So all drafted decisions would be sent to all DRB members
Mhm.
with a request to respond in 48 hours.
Yes.
And will you allow a caveat that, oh, I need 5 more hours, or I can't get back to you till tomorrow morning?
You'll have to ask the person next to you if what she feels on that.
I feel like I'm just the clerk, so whatever the board prefers, we could do 72 hours if that's better.
I think I'm inclined to request 72 hours. I think in general, we've really tried to turn around decisions really efficiently and timely. And I think it's something that's really laudable. I think it's been a great effort on our part to try to do that for, you know, the townsfolk that are wanting to do development. I'm just thinking that 48 hours for many of us, you know, you could easily be tied up for 48 hours, either on a trip or with family or with work obligations.
Yeah.
If it was okay to extend to 72 hours, I think it's just a little bit more reasonable.
And
Yeah.
your work days are what now?
Wednesday and Friday. And so I was just gonna say that
Yeah.
sometimes I do send the decisions on a Friday, which means that your 48 hours are over the weekend. So that is
So
sometimes
you'd have it,
not convenient for people.
so
to
you wouldn't
review.
even be dealing with it on Monday, you'd be dealing with it the following.
Well, I mean, I check on, I mean, I'm only in the office as a ZA on those days, but
Oh.
I do DRB work outside of those
Oh.
hours
That's true.
when it's necessary. Like, for example, if, I only have 5 days to do the minutes, so if this is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'll be making the minutes public before, my office hours, so.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily fair if I send everything to somebody on a Friday afternoon and expect 48 hours.
Right.
Reply.
Right.
And I'm just
72
the opposite, I'm, that would be my best time.
Yeah, most of us.
All right,
so
well, then
we-
you get 24. No, I'm just kidding.
So we've had a suggestion for 72 hours. Is everybody in agreement with that? I don't think we have to take a vote on this, but it would be nice to know that the board all agrees that that's a reasonable amount.
72 with no extensions.
72 with no extensions, no 5 hours added on, Christine.
Well, I agree with 72. I think they've got give a little bit of leeway in there. In
Sounds
case
good.
there's something.
Reasonable.
If I
Yeah.
get a response in 73 hours, I'm gonna, take it into consideration. Okay.
Don't give them wiggle room already.
Depending
I will
on,
take it.
depending on who sent it and what they said.
Yeah, I'll be the judge.
Okay, moving on, David.
Yes. What's the topic, Delcy?
Regulation updates for planning commission, and that includes starting off with the defining of driveways.
Yes. We have a couple of open items from our previous discussion. I just want to raise them. We had discussed whether or not we wanted to add additional definition to what constituted a waiver. So I don't want to take that up tonight, but I'm going to put that out there for everyone to consider and ponder. If anybody has any recommendations of ways in which we can greater clarify when we can have a waiver and when not to have a waiver, with the goal of trying to create greater consistency. We also have an open item, Delcy, this was something that you had really flagged, were some significant changes to the major and minor subdivisions. And again, I don't know that that's something we should take up or discuss tonight, but Delcy, if you want, I'd be really happy to take that offline with you and review that, and we can come back next month with a recommendation, if that makes sense.
That sounds good.
The third one is to create a source for the protection overlay, and this was in relation to the water source. And so, Lisa, I wonder if you have a thought or a recommendation of how we should proceed on this.
Well, I found some bylaws for that's used by the town of I think it's Fairfax. I don't know that we need to be in a big hurry about this, but I can send that out to everyone to look at. And so you can at least get a sense of what those are.
Right, and then-
If we were to create some sort of bylaw protection some bylaw about the source protection area overlay,
Yeah.
what that might look like.
And so, should we put that on the agenda for our next meeting?
That sounds good
Okay, great.
to me. Okay.
So, in addition to that, we have two requests that actually came proactively from the Planning Commission. One was relevant to our last topic, which was around the driveway. And I think, surprisingly to all of us, we realized that we had not defined in our bylaws or in state statute what a driveway actually is. And so we thought that it might make sense to add clarification to that. And the proposal that made the most sense to me was one that Diana had provided. And Diana, I think you got this from New York State, was that correct?
Well, my lights just keep going out. Hold on here. I got my lights, but I can't read what I wrote. I'm in my daughter's upstairs training room and I'm sitting next to this cadaver lying in a hospital bed. It's quite disconcerting. And the lights keep going out.
I
don't
hope the
know.
cadaver's plastic and not rotting.
So, well, I had two things that I think I read, that the New York State one was every entrance or exit used by vehicular traffic to or from lands or buildings. And then, and I'm not exactly sure where I found this one, but it was statute somewhere. I didn't write where it was, but all accesses serving not more than 3 lots shall be considered driveways and shall comply with the driveway standards in you know.
That's our current bylaw.
That's ours.
Yeah, that's what we currently have.
No, I don't think we have that, because that would be, all accesses would be considered driveways.
It is, that's what we,
Okay.
that's what we
Alright,
currently
so
have.
the New York State one is every entrance or exit used by vehicular traffic to or from lands or buildings.
No. It's on page 44. Run away. And then the planning commission is also looking at developing a definition for a single house. So that might be woven into this
A definition and a width.
and a
Yeah,
width.
They have been discussing that, yeah.
Yeah, Diana, our number 1 says all accesses serving not more than 3 lots shall be considered driveways and shall
that's
comply with the driveway standards in subsection
Yeah.
B below.
And then, so the question that we had was what, you know, is it an access or not? Or, I mean, that, as we know, that's, so,
I like that first sentence you read. I would add an amendment to it regardless of, you know, and then something about the surface, you know, regardless of whether it's this, that,
Dirt or
paved,
gravel or
gravel, dirt.
grass, yeah.
I'd actually recommend we put maybe consistently used, every entrance or exit consistently used, because, I mean, suppose someone's moving in or waiting to have something built or something, you know, so they're using one area, but it's not what they're gonna use.
I think that becomes vague.
Adding consistently does?
What's consistent? Fifty
Yeah,
times a year, twice a year, 200 times a year?
Yeah.
How about if you use the word regularly, meaning every time you drive on it, it's regular, that's the regular.
But so in a recent case, maybe someone could take a slightly different route to get to where they're going and still not have a driveway. So if you, like 1 month you use one path in and another month you use another path into the property, are they both driveways?
That comes back to what Diana started with from New York State, which is every exit or entrance or exit.
Do we care about commercial versus residential?
I think that's in there.
What?
I think commercial is,
Separate.
yeah. I
So,
think it's
so in our
referenced
regs
the bylaws.
where we're reading
I think
7,
so.
it's relative to.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not totally sure. I think so.
So if you just Google the question, the AI answer is a driveway typically refers to a private access road connecting a public way to a building or property, primarily for vehicular access and parking. I kind of like the connecting a public way to a building or property.
Well, we already have that in the regs under the 0.1 of all access, right?
Do we? Okay. Well, do we have to come up with this tonight?
Yes, because, At least that was the request, because, in speaking to Andy, he requested that we come up with it quickly, because he said, and you may know this too, Christine, because of George, but he said that the planning commission was planning to take it up and wanted our input, because they want to move on to the town plan. So they would like that. If we want input, that they would like us, and they want our input. He asked for our input on verbiage.
I'm looking at American Legal Publishing has a definition. Driveway defined. There are legal definitions elsewhere. So we probably shouldn't be reinventing the wheel.
I like the language that Diana proposed, and Diana, to the degree that people might have short-term uses with regards to construction, right? We could certainly provide that in the context of a construction application. And if somebody's having a one-time event, like a party or something like that, it wouldn't come to our board unless unless a complaint was filed. I mean, the key issue here is the width of the driveway, right? If there is a driveway, and what is the width of it?
And the setbacks.
Yeah, and the setbacks, right? So it's like if I'm having a party and I have somebody come in and drop off a porta potty, and they're not on the setback to the neighbor, that's not going to be a problem unless the neighbor complains. So I guess I would like to call the vote. I think this is interesting, unless anybody else has something else to add to it.
So Diana, would you say that?
Can I just make
again?
throw one more thought out there? Instead of saying every, if we just said an entrance or exit used by vehicular traffic, does that cut down the concern about somebody using something for temporary construction?
Put it all together, Diane.
An entrance or exit used by vehicular traffic to or from lands or buildings.
And then I
So
would
instead of saying
propose,
every, say an.
yeah, and then I would propose adding regardless of material, grass, gravel, pavement.
Well, actually, I'm rethinking that, David, because if you get really specific, somebody's gonna have some kind of,
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we should be specific, because it's,
somebody's gonna come up with some kind of like,
Newfangled turf.
yeah.
Well, but it's regardless of material, right?
residential. Why don't we say residential too? Like what Diana said, but residential driveway means a driveway used primarily by private passenger vehicles serving residential properties.
And access.
And then the access stuff.
The whole thing for our recommendations to the planning commission should be about how making our job really clear about how we can make a decision based on the way that it's defined. So I think that.
So I think if that's the case, I think we really should add regardless of material.
That's,
Oh, then you could just say that and not talk about what the materials are. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yes, I like
That's
that.
good.
Because the material came up in the hearing, right? It was like
okay,
confusing.
we can't talk about
Yes.
hearings.
Yeah, but that
Sorry.
was it was a red herring. I mean, there's no reason for
So-
that to come up.
So just reiterating again, residential, listing it as a residential driveway, defining a residential driveway makes sense.
Why
And then
would why is it important to limit it to residential?
Because commercials dealt with elsewhere. In the regs.
Is it?
I think I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, I don't think it
it's-
is. I think we have a designation in terms of commercial, whether something's a designated commercial
would-
site or not. But the driveway access is the same rule.
I disagree, because if you take a look at what we do from parking to driveways to access onto state highways, etc., it's all over the map. And I think we need to leave that up to the planning commission to decide whether they want to address that or not.
Delcy, I think I missed your point. You were responding to, therefore what? Therefore you think,
I think if you get to commercial or into anything that
Yeah.
is not residential, you're opening up a whole different set of constraints.
yeah, I agree.
So that's why I think this whole section 7. It relates to residential. And so we should say that, because. That's the issue we're trying to define.
Well, except for the
Oh.
fact that if that were true, then section 7 would be driveway access for residential houses.
That's what we're suggesting adding in.
Yeah, I don't think we should.
Oh.
We need a way of regulating commercial.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah,
Oh, let's go to commercial. It's on, what page is it on? 57? Let's see, what do we say about commercial? Oh, we say very little. Section 8.9, light industry and commercial activity as listed in table 5.1 must meet the requirements for conditional use review, including preparation of a site plan as found in section 6.1. Not
When
very
we
helpful.
looked at Christine, if you remember when we looked at things like the town coming in for a new garage and stuff, we did look at the driveway regulations. So that's not limited to private.
Yeah, I think it's both commercial and residential, section 7.
It doesn't say private in there. So I don't think we need to say it in the definition.
So what we have
Okay.
on the table is an entrance or exit consistently used by vehicular traffic.
Now, we
To or
took out consistently, I think, David.
Yeah.
I think people said they didn't want consistency in there.
An entrance or exit used by vehicular traffic to or from lands or buildings regardless of material.
I
Are
move
people
we accept
comfortable with
that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Can I just read it back to make sure I have it all down?
Yep.
An entrance or exit used by vehicular traffic to or from lands or buildings regardless of material?
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Do
you.
you want to add in, the part about, from and to, like from a public access to,
Well, it could be a private road though.
Right.
So it could be a private road.
Yeah, it's an
Right.
entrance or exit to the property, to the land or buildings. Regardless of what it's from.
Yeah, because it,
Well, if it's from
Typically
one
refers
neighbor's
to
property to
private
the other
access
neighbor's
road.
property.
yeah, what if
Well,
it's easement?
a private access road connecting a public way to a building or a property.
But-
But you're saying it's not necessarily a public road,
Yeah, it could be a
No.
private road.
but it's a
We have
public
lots
way.
and lots of private roads.
yeah.
It is a
yeah.
public way, even if it's a private road. And
We don't have it defined that way.
what?
We
Yeah,
don't
no,
have a
it-
definition for that.
For a public way?
No.
Yep.
Is it important, though, that the driveway connects? I'm trying to think of it in the context that we were struggling with it.
To access.
Well, the other place where driveway access is important is when we're evaluating whether a parcel is landlocked or not. And there's a right of way required.
A deeded right of way, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So it's not just from the public
Right.
way
Right.
to your residential building. It could
through
be
someone else's.
Right.
a public way, right of way to your.
Well,
res-
via a right of way.
Yeah.
So add a driveway via a right of way?
Well, regardless, not
No,
always.
Well, I mean, that would be, the right of way would be a driveway, would be the driveway, part of the driveway.
I
If that
think
were the case. I mean, it's still,
I think I'm missing the point. I'm sorry.
Read it again,
So what we have currently is a driveway is an entrance or exit used by vehicular traffic to or from lands or buildings, regardless of material.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think that's fine, because there is definition for right of way elsewhere. So I think that motion has been made to
That's fine.
accept this. I second it. Call the
Aye.
vote.
Fine.
I,
Aye,
Was that unanimous?
it's unanimous.
Good job, Delcy.
Who made the motion? I'm sorry.
I did.
Delcy.
Oh, David. I thought so.
Yeah,
Okay.
Delcy seconded.
Delcy seconded. Yeah, thank you.
But the next issue that we have been approached upon by the PC is around defining PUDs. And the issue that came before we're not allowed to talk about that. The question that we're allowed to have PUDs in the rural districts, but we're not allowed to have PUDs in other districts. And so the question is, should we expand the use of the ability to use a PUD in the shoreland district or across shoreland and rural district?
absolutely. I mean, that seems like the best place to actually use it is to when,
I agree.
And so do we have proposed language? I think Delcy, when we were brainstorming, you had a really simple
Not me.
language at it.
Nope.
Does someone have the PUD language open?
I can get it. Page
Couldn't
29.
couldn't we just suggest that PUDs be considered for all districts or combinations
except
of districts?
conservation, yeah.
I would recommend that we give recommended language only because we're more likely to get what we ask for.
Page 20
Page 29, I said, right?
29.
Yeah. Okay, so
Be located in rural lands or village districts.
PUDs may involve the creation of separate building lots or may include a development in which multiple principal structures and uses are constructed on an existing parcel or parcels, involve one parcel or multiple adjacent parcels as a single PUD project. PUD may, so is that the definition? The section 6.4 starts off with the purpose. Is in A, B is the applicability. Which defines the shall things, it shall be located here, it shall be at least 4 contiguous acres, etc. And then the under applicability, it's what I read earlier, PUDs may, and that seems to be more the definition. And then it goes into the review procedure.
So,
Aren't
so
you really
one,
looking- Go
so
ahead.
B1A, we're suggesting that remove that as it stands and either replace it with be contained within any district or combination of districts, or just remove it completely.
Just remove it.
Take it out complete,
And then the requirement is that you have 4 contiguous acres.
yep.
I
So I
think
think
we
the
have
recommendation
to
is
make,
that.
You keep
I
in the
think we have to
frame.
make sure it's not in, conservation districts aren't allowed. I think. Even
Well, there's
though
no development
part of
allowed
the
in
point of
conservation.
this is conservation,
Yeah,
No developments allowed, and that's defined in conservation.
yeah. And then the difficulty for the DRB becomes, well, which standards do you enforce? Do you base that on the part that's in the shorelands, you would apply the shorelands to, and the part that's in the rural or the village, you apply that to?
I'm not clear what you're saying.
If a PUD application came before the DRB and it was located in an area that was both shorelands and rural, what would the standards be? Because some things are allowed in shoreland that
Oh,
Or allowed in rural that aren't
uses
allowed
is
in
probably
shoreline.
more of an issue than like setback or something like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
So that's,
I
You
think
might
it would
want-
have to comply with both, Lisa.
with the most restrictive.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
That's good.
I think the good news is, I think that's the best solution, but I think the good news is I'm just reviewing 5.2. The only difference are actually on lot size.
What about 6?
I'm looking.
Is it 6?
Are you talking about uses?
I'm talking about uses. Maybe that's not 6.
6 point, right in planned use, it says in number 1 as the purpose is mixed use development.
Shares, actually.
So it's got that. That's the reason for.
Right.
Where are you, Delcy?
Under PUDs in 6.4A, if you look at 1 and 2, both of those, and 3, I mean, the reason for planned use are clearly laid out. So therefore, in terms of the applicability to qualify, just the more restrictive of the districts, if it's crosses districts.
According to my source, what they're looking at is which is the majority, where the majority of the lot is, in which district. They'd look at any restrictions within that specific district.
That's good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I have a
Density-
question about that. If you had a piece of land that had 200 feet of lake frontage and it goes back 4 acres. And the 200 feet of lakefront, so the shoreland district goes back 500 feet from the lake. So say if you have a long skinny lot that all of them, say if you're gonna do a PUD, and so everybody gets like this 50-foot length of shoreland that everybody shares. But it goes back like a spaghetti lot and you have your development near the end. So will that have to follow shoreland rules, or would that, if the houses are built 500 feet away from the lake, but they share a little piece of the lake?
Yeah, we don't have any shoreland rules, so there's no risk of that.
Well, yeah, right. Well, it's a shoreland district, the shoreland district. So I
Yeah,
don't know, like,
think-
I
I think
think there's
maybe-
a complication of, if the bulk of the land is in shoreland, then you use the shoreland regs, and if it's not, that just seems a little nebulous to me.
Why can't it comply with the regs in both? Check through both.
Well, I think the
most-
risk of that would be that you would end up requiring someone building in rural district, you'd require them to live by shoreland regulations if we had any. So I think Patty's concern or Patty's idea is an interesting one, right? It's like, if you had a property that was largely on the shoreland, but you were actually building in rural, wouldn't it be okay to have them be designated by rural restrictions as opposed to shoreline restrictions if we had any?
Why wouldn't it be applicable to where the actual building lot was? If it was
That's
in
what I was
rural
just saying.
district, it'd be governed by
Yeah.
the rural district. If it was in the shoreland district, it'd be governed by the shoreland.
Depending on the location of the proposed structure.
Correct.
I
think
think
that's right.
that's a good idea. And I want to remind everybody that we have deliberations to go into following these discussions.
Thanks, Delcy. Let's see if we can wrap this up. You know what we'll do next month? Let's put a time limit on this discussion.
Right.
Well, I do think planning commission wants to know if we have any thoughts on PUD though, because I think they're gonna take it up at their next meeting.
So without writing it down, which I understand, David, it's more likely to get into, but the two major bullet points I've got is, one is being able to expand it into other districts, and two is that the rules of each district apply if it crosses districts.
Yeah, I mean.
I
I
said
don't know that I agree with that second one, because I mean, it depends on the percentage. Suppose it's, like 1/20th of the land.
But if it's
No,
being
no,
built.
that's not what I'm saying, Diana. I'm saying that if you build what's built in the shoreland district has to meet those requirements. What's built in the other
Oh,
district.
okay, that's, okay, that wasn't
Yeah.
clear. What you said.
Exactly.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I might not have been clear.
okay.
Well, I wonder if we really do need to actually specify that, because there aren't, as David pointed out, I think, there aren't that many places where there's a difference. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna have,
I know, but the
much
one time
higher
it
den-
comes to us, it's gonna be because there's a difference.
that's right.
Thank you,
Sure.
David. I totally agree with you.
And yeah, well, and then if we have a village district and we continue, well, we will be forced in some way to have a high density area. So, maybe we leave it to the discretion of the DRB in terms of making sure that the project as a whole fulfills, the objectives of the PUD.
No, as soon as you put making it into discretion, no way. Absolutely, that opens up a can of worms.
You're right. Yeah.
I've been there, done that. Don't want to do it again.
So how
Um,
about when the PUD crosses 2 or more districts? The district rules, what's the right language there? The district rule, where the building is placed. Charlie, you want to help me?
I think Dulcie had, in your bullet point, you said it, right?
Yeah,
Do we
Delcy
need to
said-
add anything to that, Dulcie?
I don't think so.
I think just keep it simple and let them work on it.
Yeah.
Elsie, what was the language?
I didn't write it down.
Charlie, what did she say?
The essence of it is that where the lots were designated, the district that the lots were designated, they would have to follow the regulations for that district.
Correct.
That's what Delcy said 5 minutes ago.
I know, but I couldn't remember because that was 5 minutes ago.
Just pointing out our efficiency.
Okay. David, you got that?
Yep, I got it. We're good.
Okay,
That's it for tonight, Dulcie.
okay. Diana,
We have, as far as board openings, we have two members who are up this term, David and Patty, I believe. And they have expressed interest in being reappointed by the select board. But according to Corinne, we need to publicly state that there are two positions that are coming up for renewal this time. So if anybody else wants to apply, they can. I will remind the public that we also have two alternate positions. Chip is currently one alternate and has requested to be reappointed. The other opening is, the other position of alternate is totally open, and we encourage any public member who has any interest to please apply for that.
Diana, the
Yes.
gentleman who's sitting back here was observing us because he might be interested in that position.
Okay, then he should go speak
Well,
to.
he may want to talk to you and find out a little bit more about what the deal
I'll
is all.
be back on,
Put you in touch.
but you should let Corinne know, because I'm not sure when the letter's gonna go to the select board on appointments.
It's on the sheet.
I can tell her in the morning, yeah. thank
No,
you.
no, I wouldn't do that.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he's not really sure yet, and he's
Oh,
a
okay.
friend and.
Oh,
he
okay.
wants to
Okay,
talk.
he can, I
We can
won't be
appoint
home.
an alternate, Diana, any time of the year. We can go to the
Okay.
select board and ask to have somebody appointed if someone's interested. I just don't
I-
want to make this a public because I don't know that the gentleman wants to be public.
Okay,
about it
I will
right
be,
now.
Christine, I will be home on the 21st, or you could give him my email.
Yeah, great. Find out
Feel
what we do and how we
Yeah,
do it, what the responsibilities
Feel
are.
free.
And if he decides then, and he misses the deadline,
Yeah, perfect.
thanks.
We'll get it taken care of. Thank you. And then the second thing is, and this is part my fault, part VLCT's issue, as far as Lisa correctly pointed out in an email to me, we had tentatively talked about doing it, next week, the training session with VLCT. It was left up in the air, and by the time I remembered that we hadn't finalized it with them, we'd sent them that date, but I'd never heard back from them. And then she said that they were super busy with the legislature, and could we wait until March or April? So for me, April is better. I have a son undergoing surgery, and I have to pretty much move in with them for a while in March. But if March is better for everybody else, we can make it work.
I'm a vote for April, Diana.
Yeah.
So if people are
April
ready
works for me.
to do that, we can do it in April. And are people still saying, I think they can do late afternoon. They had recommended evening, like a 6:30 time frame, but if people would prefer like 4:30 in the afternoon, I can tell them that.
What day? 8?
No, we don't have a date yet, just April.
Oh.
So Diana, my request would be before April 18th,
Okay,
and I would prefer to do it in the afternoon if that worked.
like 4:30?
Yeah, that would be good. That's what we had discussed last time.
Okay, I'll say 4:30, and I'll get a couple of dates from them then. Is there a day of the week that's better for anybody?
Diane, I was gonna tell you this at some point, at the end of the meeting. I'll be zooming in it in March, but I will not be able to make the April meeting.
This is an
Oh,
additional.
This would be an
Yeah.
additional
This
meeting
is an
though.
additional meeting.
Are you
So if it
available
is-
anytime at the beginning, like, David just asked if it was before April 18th. Are you available before April 18th?
Yeah, I mean, if they give us a couple of days, I'm sure one will work. But I'm not gonna be available between the 10th and the 15th. And I'm not gonna be available after the 20th.
Okay, not 10 to 15th?
And not 20 to 25.
So it looks like 16 or 17 if that works for everybody.
Or
What
one
days
through
of the
nine.
week are
Before
those,
that.
Daniel?
Yeah,
So what we
Daniel,
have
what days
left
of the
is
week are they?
April
16,
1st
17,
through
Wednesday,
9.
Thursday. Sorry, Patty.
Okay, I'm gonna ask them for the 16th or the 17th then, if that's okay.
Or
What
Patty was
about
just
the
saying 1 through
3rd?
9.
Or 1 through 9. It could,
Can we send out a calendar and just get dates from people?
I can do that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. So Danielle, just 16, 1 through 9 or 16 or 17?
Got it. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Do I have a motion to go into deliberative session?
I move we go into deliberative session.
I second this.
It's about time,
Everybody-
Charlie.
Everybody say aye.
Yes,
Charlie, I've been waiting all night for you to say that.
Okay.
Well, talk less.
Uh,
Steve.
All done. Let me stop recording.